Stephan Bonnar's career in the UFC is marked by some of the most thrilling and exciting fights the promotion has ever seen. One such fight was his battle with Forrest Griffin at the finale of the first season of The Ultimate Fighter reality show, which is widely regarded as one of the most important fights in UFC history. However, in February 2010, Bonnar found himself on the undercard of UFC 110 in Australia, looking to secure a win against Krzysztof Soszynski. From the opening bell, it was clear that this was going to be a brutal and bloody battle. Bonnar took a punch to the nose early on in the fight, followed by a powerful uppercut that left him reeling. The real carnage, however, came in the third round when both fighters found themselves battling against the fence. It was here that the bloodletting began in earnest. As the fighters clashed against the fence, an accidental headbutt caused a deep gash to open up on Bonnar's forehead. Almost immediately, blood began gushing out of the wound, creating a gruesome spectacle for all to see. Despite the blood pouring out of him, Bonnar valiantly tried to continue fighting. However, the cage-side physician quickly determined that the cut was too deep and Bonnar was unable to continue. The fight was officially ruled a TKO win for Soszynski, and Bonnar left the octagon with his face battered and bloodied. Despite the loss, however, he had once again proven his toughness and willingness to fight to the bitter end, even in the face of a potentially career-ending injury. For many fans, this fight remains one of the most memorable and brutal battles in UFC history, a testament to the grit and determination of both fighters involved. If you were one of the 1.6 million households that paid for the UFC 100 pay-per-view but missed the undercard, you may have been curious as to why the octagon was already stained red with blood at the beginning of the broadcast. This was due to the intense fight between Mac Danzig and Jim Miller, both of whom were part of an exceptionally talented undercard that also featured Jon Jones and Mark Coleman. During the fight, Miller was both impressive and brutal, causing a cut on Danzig's hairline in the first round and continuously pounding on it with elbows for the rest of the match. Danzig struggled to keep Miller at bay, as the latter relentlessly attacked him both on the ground and from a distance, executing 6 takedowns and landing nearly 63% of his strikes. As a result, Danzig bled profusely throughout the fight, culminating in a Miller unanimous decision victory. When Randy Couture was in top form, he could dismantle any opponent by utilizing his elbows in the dirty boxing clinch game or by taking control from the top. In 2004, just 7 months after losing his UFC light heavyweight championship to Vitor Belfort due to a cut, Couture faced off against Belfort in a trilogy fight. As expected, Couture dominated the fight by repeatedly striking Belfort in the second round and opening up a cut on his opponent. Couture maintained top control throughout the fight, landing an impressive 131 out of 154 total strikes. With each punch, Belfort bled profusely, causing Couture's white shorts to turn red. Couture's beating was so effective that, at one point, his punch caused Belfort's head to jerk so violently that blood sprayed onto the cage-side camera. Finally, at the end of the third round, Belfort sat in disappointment as doctors determined that he was unable to continue. Diego Sanchez seemed to only bring his best efforts to a fight when he was bleeding. This was exemplified in his 2011 UFC on Versus main event against Martin Kampmann, which quickly turned into one of the year's bloodiest battles. In the first round, Kampmann opened up a cut on Sanchez and even knocked him down. However, this only fueled Sanchez to come back harder in the second round. The violence quotient increased with each passing round as both men upped their output. Sanchez endured cuts under both eyes and a swollen left eye, while his nose bled down his chest. Kampmann also sustained a cut of his own. Despite being outlanded during the fight, Sanchez managed to earn a decision victory. Diego Sanchez's 4-fight win streak led to a lightweight title shot against BJ Penn at UFC 107. However, Penn was in top form and delivered one of the greatest championship performances in UFC history. Throughout the 4+ round fight, Penn landed an incredible 70% of his strikes, only took 8 hits, and prevented all 27 of Sanchez's takedown attempts. It was a complete domination, perhaps even a domination that was soaked in blood. Penn methodically attacked Sanchez's face with precise strikes, causing multiple cuts, including ones to his nose and lips. Although most of the blood was shed in the final round, Penn had already shut down Sanchez's takedown attempts when he unleashed a head kick that immediately opened up a 3-inch gash on the left side of Sanchez's forehead. Despite the injury, Sanchez valiantly attempted another takedown, but when they separated, his face was covered in blood. The doctor took one look at it, and Penn's blood-looking ritual began before the official decision was announced. Although Abe Wagner never officially fought in the UFC, he did participate in the Ultimate Fighter Season 10, where he faced Jon Madsen in a quarterfinal matchup in the Octagon. Wagner was primarily a striker, while Madsen had a wrestling background, giving him an edge in style. Madsen took Wagner down early in the fight and maintained control on the ground. During his assault, Madsen landed a strike that opened a cut on the right side of Wagner's forehead. From that moment on, every landed punch seemed to produce more blood. Despite his efforts to defend, Wagner was unable to get back on his feet and was brutally attacked on the ground, resulting in 2 large pools of blood on the mat, covering his face and right arm by the end of the first round. During the break between rounds, the doctor examined the cut, but Wagner's cut men were able to slow down the bleeding, allowing him to continue. Unfortunately for Wagner, Madsen quickly took him down again and resumed his assault. Although Wagner briefly forced a stand-up, he was quickly taken back down, resulting in another blood pool on the opposite side of the cage. When the doctors cleaned the cut, they could see the bone beneath it. Josh Neer had always been known for his brawling skills, evident from his dentist nickname. However, his fight with Keith Wisniewski on October 1st, 2011 was perhaps his most violent masterpiece yet. Both fighters were seasoned veterans, which made it clear that neither was willing to back down in the battle that was happening against the cage. As a result, most of the fight took place in a clinch, making it highly likely that the fighter who could land better elbow strikes would emerge victorious. Josh Neer turned out to be the answer. He unleashed a flurry of elbow strikes in the second round, cutting Wisniewski multiple times, including above both his eyes. By the middle of the round, Wisniewski's face was covered in blood. Neer then attempted to secure a standing guillotine, and the pressure on Wisniewski's head caused blood to gush out. At the end of the round, ref Dan Mirgliota appeared both amazed and disgusted. However, after consulting with the cage-side doctor, it was decided that Wisniewski had had enough. Thank you for watching today's video. We hope you enjoyed the video and got a glimpse of some of the most brutal injuries in MMA history. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos like this. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest uploads. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.